It's time to jump into the second part of the Naruto Chunin Exams Arc. This time we're going to be talking about the prelims, because these fights were insane, specifically the Lee Vs Gaara fight, and I have a lot to say about it. We've been splitting up the Chunin exams into 3 separate videos. The first one we talked about the first 2 parts of the exam. The second video will be the prelims, which is this one, and the third one we'll talk about the training and then the tournament. So let's jump into the prelims in the Chunin exams. Welcome to NonStopAntonio, where I talk about everything nerdy. I love Marvel, DC, and anime, and if you do too, I hope you enjoy this video. I was actually surprised all the gaining passed the second exam, because I thought at least some of them were gonna fail, but all of them passed. But I'm thinking that was all set up for the prelim section, because not all of them passed that, because they couldn't pass that. Which, when we started there, Sakura wanted Sasuke to back out, and a bunch of other characters did as well, because of the curse mark that was getting worse. Anko was worried about Sasuke, but even then, Kakashi was like, no, he's gonna continue going, because Sasuke won't back down, because he's from the Uchiha clan. And I like how they set up the curse mark being a danger to everyone, because it sets up a lot of stuff for like, what is this curse mark? Like, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what's going on with it. Like, they kind of dealt with it, and they showed Sasuke dealing with it, but I feel like there's still a lot more that has to come from it. Because the whole point of the curse mark is for Orochimaru to get Sasuke to him, so that he can turn Sasuke into his weapon. Like I said, I like how Sakura tries to get Sasuke to quit, but Sasuke refuses because he's an Avenger. He's going to avenge his family, and he plans to be the strongest there is. And I love how he turns to Naruto. He's like, you're one of the ones I want to fight. Because he wants to prove he's stronger than Naruto. And I like their little rivalry, but also their friendship, because they want to beat each other, but they're also there for each other when they need it. But that was just the intro to the prelim part, so let's actually jump into the prelim. Because the prelims are pretty awesome. Like, some fights were a little lackluster, but most of them were really good. But the ones that really stood out for me were obviously the Lee Vs Gaara one. That one was the best one over all of them. I really liked the Sakura vs Ino fight. Hinata vs Neji was very good. And the Naruto vs Kiba one was also really good, mostly because Naruto just never backed down. The first fight with Sasuke and Jiraya, I thought was going to be a little bit more intense, because just how they were setting up the curse mark and what was going to go down. But I like how Sasuke just kicks the dude's ass. He completely underestimated him. But Sasuke uses one of Lee's moves, because he learned it with his Sharingan in the beginning of the exam. I mean, I don't think there was a question that Sasuke was going to lose or win, because Sasuke is strong, and he wasn't going to let the curse mark stop him. And I like how Kakashi just takes Sasuke after to deal with the curse mark, which led into an interesting moment with Orochimaru, which I thought was going to lead into this epic fight with Kakashi versus Orochimaru, and something bad was going to happen. However, it was just Kakashi telling him to leave, and for Orochimaru to be like, you know what? I don't need to fight you. Sasuke will come to me eventually. I don't need to worry about it. And him just leaving. And then Kakashi mentioning that if he was to fight Orochimaru, he would die, since Orochimaru is one of the 3 legendary ninjas who are OP as shit. And I'm interested in seeing who the other one is, because Jiraya was also one of those legendary ninjas. So there's one more. I want to know who that one more is, and I'm sure we'll learn about it. I'm hoping I learn about it soon. I'm intrigued. The second fight with Shino versus Zaku was creepy as all hell because of Shino's freaking bugs that crawl within him. I didn't realize the bugs were in him. I thought they were maybe on his clothes, but they're literally in his body, which is so freaking creepy, and I hate spiders. So seeing them all crawl out of him, I'm like, yeah, nope, not today. And Zaku, I totally thought he was incapacitated after Sasuke snapped his arms, but apparently he was able to fight. He still lost in the end, with his arms getting like blown up in a sense because of the spiders going in, but like, yeah. That was a fight. And the third fight with Misumi versus Kankuro was interesting as well, because we find out that Kankuro is a puppet master and has a puppet of himself, which I did not see coming. I guess he was in the wrapping and the puppet was him walking around. I'm still kind of confused by that, but that was an interesting power. That's about it. I don't really have much to say about that. And then Sakura versus Ino, the fourth fight, was again one of the highlights of this arc, mostly because of the fact that Sakura has barely done anything, and this fight really developed her character and where she is, which is what I really liked. I like seeing that character development, pushing characters forward. I know I shouldn't get used to Sakura actually doing stuff, but it is cool to see her do something. And like, the fight wasn't amazing by action-wise, it was character development, how the characters interacted with one another, and how Sakura and Ino used to be friends and became rivals. And I like how they both held back at the beginning too. They weren't using their jutsu, they were just fist fighting, because of how they saw each other when they were kids. So they didn't really put in all the effort until Sakura and Ino started to make each other more mad and started to actually go against each other using their chakra and their jutsus. And I like seeing the flashbacks of them being kids, picking the flowers, and how Ino helped Sakura blossom into the flower she is now. I like the symbolization of them putting on their headbands for becoming true shinobis and fighting one another without holding back. And they even point out again how Sakura is better with her chakra than Naruto or Sasuke, which is something they set up earlier in the first arc. And I like how they use that too, because it's set to the end of the fight where Ino uses her hair to kind of make a rope to catch Sakura so she can use her jutsu and possess her body. Then you see Naruto yelling at Sakura, which kind of makes her click, and Sakura's inner yeller, if that makes sense, you know how she's always yelling in her head, is able to push Ino and break free, showing that Sakura can control the chakra within her, because normally no one can break free of Ino's control, which I thought was really interesting, showing that Sakura isn't completely weak. She can do some stuff. I mean, in the end, both of them lose, but Ino respects Sakura for their fight and saying that she has now blossomed into a beautiful flower. Again, not a lot of action in this fight, in a sense, compared to the other ones, but like a lot of character development for Sakura as a character, pushing her along that road to becoming better, which I liked. The 10-10 versus Tamari fight was interesting. I didn't realize 10-10 fought with scrolls and that the scrolls would just spit out weapons, but Tamari ended up kicking her ass, which felt bad for 10-10, but that was how that fight went. And again, I don't really have a lot to say for some of the fights. And then the sixth fight was Shikamaru versus Tsutsuchi. Shikamaru's Shadow Possession is a cool move, and I like how he beat Tsutsuchi is that he made her like duck and hit her head and knock herself out, which was pretty smart and funny. Like, imagine losing a fight because you knocked yourself out. Now it's time to talk about the 3 fights that were some of the best, and they're back to back to back, because the first one we got Naruto versus Kiba, which this fight really showed how everyone looked down on Naruto, how Kiba was always like just kept poking at him, but it shows how Hinata loves Naruto, which I really liked from the fight, because it was really cute. Seeing Hinata being like, I want to support Naruto, I really like him, but I'm on Kiba's team, so I should be supporting him. It was just a really, really nice moment, especially near the end of the fight. But the entire of the fight, like, Kiba's talking down to Naruto, I was getting annoyed with, because I'm like, Kiba, you better shut the hell up. It was very intense, because he just kept knocking Naruto down, and it looked like Naruto was gonna lose. Like, I thought he was gonna lose, but it makes you realize how Naruto, even though he knows that no one acknowledges him ever, they're all watching him now in this fight. They're all there, and they're seeing how Naruto fights, so they have to acknowledge him. They have to. So he just keeps continuing to fight, because he knows if he wins, they'll finally respect him the way he wants to be respected. And it was awesome to see how Naruto learned during this fight as well, because of Kiba using his own fighting style and also powering up Akamaru and making Akamaru look like Kiba, so there's 2 Kibas running around. He eventually learns how to deal with it, because he turns himself into Kiba. Kiba trusts his nose, and Naruto's able to make him think that Akamaru is Naruto, so Kiba punches his own freaking dog and then realizes he messed up. And then Naruto is able to trick him because he's all flustered and wins in the end, using his Shadow Clone Jutsu, which is Naruto's special trick. He usually tends to win after using his Shadow Clone Jutsu, and I liked how he used the Naruto Barrage, which is literally just Sasuke's move from the first fight. Naruto, he seemingly steals people's moves throughout this entire fight, but it shows how he's learning and adapting, which I think is really nice. And I like seeing the characters learn and adapt from what they see. And at the end of the fight, Hinata gives Naruto a little healing ointment, and Naruto is so freaking oblivious to Hinata's crush, it annoys the shit out of me. I'm like, Naruto, come on. Do you not see this? But after that really great fight with Naruto and Kiba, we get into the fight with Neji and Hinata, which this was an intense fight. Like, I felt so bad for Hinata during this, and I wanted to knock Neji out myself, because this fight was so freaking emotional for her character, and showing where her character developed as well, which again, the Chunin exams really pushed character development on these characters this arc. And I like how the whole fight was just Hinata trying to prove that she's strong, that she's grown up, and that she's not weak anymore, and she's not backing down. Because when she was younger, her father picked over her sister over her, because she was supposed to be the next head of the family, but because she was weak, she kind of got pushed aside and forgotten about. It really shows her what her family's like, but I like how this is her trying to prove everyone wrong. And even Naruto yelling at her to be like, you prove him wrong, you're better than him, you can be stronger than him. And it's just, you see her like rise up because Naruto's cheering for him. The guy she likes, she's gonna stand up and try to be better, and she's not gonna back down because she wants to impress him, which means she has to use her Byakugan, and the Byakugan is really interesting as well, and if I'm mispronouncing that, that sucks. Anyways, that's interesting how they can see the chakra points on the body. They attack the opponent's chakra network and do damage internally. Cool power move that's only in the Hyuga clan. And I love during the fight how Naruto is hyping up Hinata constantly. Like, that's one of my favorite parts from it. And Hinata's thinking about it and being like, I'm not gonna back down, because she's inspired by Naruto. She sees how he's never backed down, and she's inspired to do the exact same thing. And I like how even Sakura points out that Hinata has always been watching Naruto, but he's still oblivious. But Sakura, I feel like Sakura kind of knows. But then she takes a brutal hit, but she keeps pushing herself, getting up, getting knocked down, getting up, getting knocked down. and she's not stopping, and you can really see the determination in her eyes, but also like the sadness, because she's not as strong as Neji. Neji's a better fighter, but she's not gonna stop fighting, and Neji's just a dick. At the very end, Neji tries to kill her. Like, he tries to go for the killing blow, which is what also made me not like him more, because he tries to kill Hinata right there and then. But luckily, Kakashi and Guy step in and protect her. But like, goddamn, the dude was going in for the kill. But now it's time to talk about the best fight from the prelims, and that is the Lee versus Gaara fight. I was not expecting this fight to last 3 episodes, especially after the other ones, but goddamn was it good. And the way Lee was moving through the scene, like, looked fantastic. I really like what they did with this fight, especially all the emotional moments during it with Lee's character. Because Lee is so much stronger than I thought he was. Like, the dude's been walking around with weights on him, and he just takes it off, and he moves faster than the freaking Flash. The best part is, he can only use taijutsu. He can't use any special moves. Like, he's only using his body. He's not using anything special to fight with. And you wouldn't think he would be that strong, but in the end, he was that strong. But in this fight, too, we see how strong Gaara is and how insane he is, because the dude goes full freaking crazy. Especially because he's never been hit before, that he's losing it because he's getting hit. He's getting hurt, which he's not used to, because this sand usually protects him from being touched. And I like how even Kakashi's impressed that Lee has his hidden lotus move, which most of the time, most ninjas can't use, because as you open it, it floods more chakra into you, which could kill you by a certain gate, which I thought was really interesting, how Lee can tap into something that other people can't usually do it. And Lee looks like he's gonna win. He's beating the shit out of Gaara. He looks like he's gonna win. Even though Gaara is really strong, he looks like he's gonna win. And when he opens the 5th gate and slams Gaara into the ground, you're like, oh shit, did he just win? Until Gaara is able to cushion his fall using his gourd, and Lee has used all his strength. He thought he was almost gonna beat him, and Gaara still stood back up and then tried to kill Lee, because he is a killer. I love that Guy stepped in to save him, because he would have died otherwise. But when Guy steps in and says that he cares about Lee, you can really see the Gaara snap, because he's never had anyone there to care for him before. But even though Lee lost, his consciousness still stood back up, because he's not giving up. Even though he's broken, he's beaten, he still stood up, but he wasn't conscious. But then eventually he has to stop because he can't fight. And even the doctors say he might not be able to fight anymore because of the damage to his leg and his arm, which I don't think is true. I don't think Lee is going to let an injury back down. Even though they think that he's never going to be a shinobi again, I think something else is going to go down. I'm really looking forward to seeing Lee's development after this, because he still has so much to accomplish. He wanted to beat Sasuke. He wanted to beat Neji. Like, he needs to do that. And now that he's been injured, who knows if he can do that anymore? I mean, like, obviously, people know the anime's been going on for a while. I'm looking forward to seeing Lee's development as we go forward, especially because within the first time meeting him, he got a freaking critically wounded injury, and I want to see more of Lee. I don't want to see him sitting on the sidelines. I like his character. His determination alone showed me how good of a character he is and how motivated he is to win. Then we get to the final fight, which was just Choji versus Dosu, and Choji loses pretty much instantly, because he's like, I'm gonna turn into a ball and roll into him. But then Dosu just like vibrated him and just beat him like that. Poor Choji. Poor Choji. But overall, the prelims were amazing with great character moments, especially for like Sakura and Lee. Like, they were so freaking good. And it made me really respect Hinata, Sakura, and Lee a lot more. This arc just made those characters stand up a lot more than they were before. And like Lee never backing down against Gaara was great. Gaara is terrifying, and I can't wait to find out more about him, which we do a little bit later on in the arc. But I feel like there's still so much more they didn't explain during the arc that I am looking forward to finding out. I absolutely love how Hinata was inspired by Naruto, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next, because she kept fighting until she almost died, and she almost dies again, I guess, later in the arc. So I'm intrigued to see what happens after this arc, because the last we see of her is her passed out on the ground. What did you think of the prelims for the Chunin exams? Which fight was your favorite? And which character moment did you like the most? Let me know down in the comments, and if you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, because it helps out the channel a lot, and you'll stay up to date with my Naruto videos. Thanks for watching, and in a week, we'll talk about the training and the tournament part of this arc. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.